Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Happy October. Y'all already know this is one of my favorite months of the entire year. I know it's been a while since I've posted anything, but I've been having a lot of changes happen in my life in the past couple of weeks and just for the month of October in general. So I am full-time dancing again, but I will be going into more detail about that in another video. Another thing that has happened in my life since I've posted is I got COVID. I currently have it right now. As you guys know, I work in a hospital, so I'm thinking that maybe I contacted it through a coworker or a patient. But the thing that really is shitty is that I got my booster shot about 2 weeks ago. And so I was kind of displaying symptoms of that. So I really didn't think that I had COVID. I was having kind of like the general symptoms of like runny nose, a headache, chills, things like that. And then on Monday and Tuesday, I literally lost all my taste and smell. So on Wednesday, I went and got a COVID test done, and sure enough, it came back positive. So right now, I am having to quarantine for 10 full days, and I can't go back to work until October 21st. So I was kind of bummed about that because I had a lot of fun, exciting things planned to do for the month of October. I wanted to go to the pumpkin patch, wanted to go to like a haunted house and things like that, but I'm gonna have to kind of put my life on pause for a week. Hopefully, I feel better after and I can do all of those things. But right now I have a ton of time to just film for you guys. So that's exciting. In today's video, I will be giving all of you strippers out there and all girls some feminine hygiene tips that are very helpful, especially if you're a dancer. But even if you're not a dancer, this video is going to be very helpful and informative. So if any of you guys would like to know more about feminine hygiene and have some tips that will be helpful, just keep watching. So I do have my little notes here that I took in my notebook for you guys, so I just don't forget anything because there's so much information. I constantly do a lot of research on stuff like this. Also, these are just notes from like things that my gynecologist has recommended me. So I wrote everything down so I don't forget. So if you guys do see me looking down, that's just me going over my notes. Let's start off with things that I do for myself and for the club to make sure that my feminine hygiene is on point. So one thing about the vagina is that our pH level is 3.8 to 4.5. So whenever your pH level goes outside of that range, you're now, at risk for bacterial infections and just your pH level being off. So one of the things that I do to make sure that I am clean down there is I use Honey Pot's sensitive foaming wash. Now, for any of you women out there, if you're using soap down there that has fragrance, you should stop using it. Fragrance irritates you and throws off your pH balance. So the good thing about everything being plant-based is it's all natural. You always want to go to the back of the bottle because a lot of these natural brands will say plant-based and natural, but then when you read the back, it will say fragrance. So one thing that I recommend is going to the back of the bottle where it says ingredients. And if anything says fragrance, I would recommend just not buying it. The only thing that I don't like about it is the pump kind of sucks and it goes out. So like after a while, it kind of sucks, but that's the only thing that I feel like they need to fix about this. I did get a new bottle because I'm running low on this one and the pump hasn't broke down on that one yet. So I don't know if they've been taking tips from other girls and now fixed it, but that's the only thing I would complain about this. It has apple cider vinegar, which is super good because apple cider vinegar has the same pH of our vagina. So its pH level is from 2 to 3 and our pH level is 3.8 to 4.5. So it's right in between that range. And then it also has just a bunch of plant-based ingredients. So definitely look into this. If you're not using a plant-based soap or fragrance-free soap, change it. It'll definitely make a significant difference in your life. The next thing that I recommend, boric acid suppositories. Oh my God, these changed my life. So you do know as a dancer, you're wearing tight ass underwear, you're sweating, and it's normal for moisture to be happening down there. Well, moisture is basically an environment for bacteria to grow. So, you're more at risk for getting yeast infections, bacterial infections, and things like that. So, one of the things that really help combat that is boric acid. Now, I have tried several different brands of boric acid. This one you can find at a local drugstore, Walgreens, CVS, or Walmart. This one is called PhD, Feminine Health Boric Acid Suppositories. Now, this is Peachy Pure. I prefer Peachy Pure over this, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. First off, Peachy Pure is 100% natural. Even their capsules that they use are vegan, so you're not sticking any gelatin up you, which scares me. I don't like that. And there's also aloe vera in these. So that's the difference between some of these other ones on the market and the shelf that you're going to get. Usually it's just boric acid, but this one contains aloe vera. Also, the capsules are much bigger. I'm literally running low on these. I think I have, 2 left. So that just shows you that I really use these. And you can use these in multiple ways. You can use these after having sex. You can use these after having your period. Even if you just want to freshen up down there, if you're showing symptoms of yeast or anything like that. But this is just, you don't have to have any complications down there to really use these. These are great for just freshening you up and making sure you feel fresh and clean. And you will literally have no odor, no fragrance, no scent. Like, you just smell like freshness. And girl, let me tell you, this will make you very, very wet down there. Any girl who has ever used boric acid suppositories, Peachy Pure brand specifically, you can go on their website and you'll see a ton of reviews. Anytime I use this, my man, he definitely notices a difference, because I create a lot more moisture down there and I smell very fresh and clean. So these contain 600 milligrams of boric acid and 100 milligrams of aloe vera. Now, because boric acid is extremely poisonous to your body, you do not want to swallow these capsules. I'm going to warn you again, do not try and swallow these capsules. If you do, try and contact poison control. Now, I know it might sound really scary. Why would I put something up me, that is like poisonous to our body? But if you do your research, which I have here in my notes, boric acid has been used for over 100 years to treat yeast infections and bacterial infections. It's antifungal, so it helps restore your pH level. And also, it's a natural remedy for dryness and it increases moisture. So this is basically what the little capsule looks like. It's about this big. You can wash your hands and just insert it yourself. Or it comes with a little applicator, kind of like a tampon applicator. You can use that as well, if it's your first time, if you're not comfortable with like doing it yourself. But if you do, always make sure you wash your hands first. But this is a game changer, girls. And if you're a stripper, I really, really feel like you should have this in your medicine cabinet, just because we're constantly putting ourselves at risk from sweating, wearing tight underwear, and it's always important you want to switch out of your underwear and things like that. So I am going to go over what causes these types of infections, and then I will go over and give you guys some tips on how to take care of your vagina and, prevent any of those infections happening. So another thing that I take every day is a woman's daily probiotic. Any type of probiotic that you take every day is so important, and I recommend you to take one every day as a woman, because lactobacilli is basically one of the ingredients. It's a type of bacteria, but it's a good bacteria. It lives in the vagina and it secretes lactic acid and hydrogen peroxide, which gives the vagina its acidic pH level. So when you have a good amounts of lactobacilli in your body, you are going to have less chances of getting any bacterial infections or UTIs and things like that. So this helps balance everything out. The brand is called Renew Life. You can get any type of probiotic at any local drugstore, Walmart, Walgreens. I like to order mine off of iHerb. So just make sure that, it has a lot of live cultures in it. This one has 25 billion live cultures, and I recommend the vegetarian capsules. I just feel like it's healthier than taking gelatin. So this container contains 30. I take one every day. Now, always look at the directions at the bottle because depending on how many, servings is in a capsule, you might have to take 2 a day. But this brand just recommends to take 1 capsule with or without food. Now, let's get into the things that can cause vaginal infections such as yeast and BV. One of those things is your period blood. So, the pH level of your blood is higher than the pH level of our vagina. So, if you ever notice anytime around your period, you start to have any symptoms of like bacterial infection or irritation down there, it can most likely be from your period. A lot of people end up getting like a yeast infection before their period or after, and that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you or that you're dirty or that you're gross. It's just, the hormones in our body. There's not enough education out there. Women feel shameful to talk about these kinds of things, but I definitely want to help educate women and help them not feel shamed about getting bacterial infections or things like this because it's very normal, it's very common, and a lot of the things that happen are outside of our control. Now, one of the facts I wrote down in my notes is that BV and yeast disproportionately affects Black and Hispanic women of color, poor women more than rich, and uneducated more than educated women. So I'm going to repeat that again. It affects more uneducated women than educated women. So this is why I felt like this video would be helpful for women because a lot of us are not educated on this stuff. Women are constantly felt like shame to talk about our body parts and things like that. So I wanted to definitely just educate you guys so that you can learn that, if you are having or struggling with these symptoms, that it's common and there are tons of ways that you can help treat it. Now, the second thing that can cause disconnect in your pH level is clothing. If you are wearing clothes that is too tight, it can cause UTIs, bacterial infections, or any type of irritation down there. So just be careful if you are wearing tighter clothes. Also, another huge thing is the material of your underwear. Any underwear that is made of like nylon or spandex or polyester, those are really not recommended, especially by gynecologists. I have been told this by my gynecologist specifically, that it just does not work well with the moisture down there. So you want to try and wear cotton underwear because they are more breathable and they're going to absorb that moisture. Whereas if you wear underwear that are not made of that material, it just kind of gives an environment for bacteria to keep growing and the moisture to just stay there. So I do have an example of 2 pairs of cotton underwears. Another thing is thongs. Thongs is a huge thing that causes irritation down there. So as strippers, it's kind of hard to not wear thongs, right? Because that's what we have to wear. So if you are gonna wear a thong, and I know this is kind of unavoidable sometimes when you're a stripper because the materials of the thongs are not always made of cotton, but I'll go into more details about ways you can work with that too. If you're gonna wear a thong, try to wear cotton. Avoid wearing thongs as much as possible. I specifically do not wear thongs every day anymore. I used to. I only wear them when I am wearing something that I do not want my panty line to show or if I'm being sexy for my man. So these are cotton. You can tell just by the material, they're soft and on the inside. Another thing is a lot of these panties, they can come nylon or polyester, but if they're cotton on the inside, you're okay with that too. So you can always check. But these are cotton on both the outside and inside, so they're much more breathable. The material is softer and it's going to absorb any moisture down there. And then these are just basic underwear, like bikini styled underwear. Yes, they're not the hottest, they're not the cutest thing, but like no one sees your underwear anyway. Unless you're planning or, trying to do something special for you and your boyfriend, then switch them. But really, it's important that you try not to wear them as often because these are much more breathable and you're less at risk for getting bacteria growth down there. What happens when you wear a thong is you're walking and the back of the thong, it starts to ride up and it's doing this. And it's moving all the bacteria from the back to the front. And that puts you at risk for UTIs and any type of BV or yeast. So wear cotton underwear. The next thing that can cause you to have any type of discomfort down there is medication. If you are taking certain medications, make sure you're talking with your doctor, especially hormonal birth control. I have been on several different birth controls. I have been on birth control since I was like 15 years old because I've had excruciating cramps and pain, and it helped me with that. Now, women get on birth control for multiple different reasons, but if you are on a hormonal birth control and you're noticing that you're getting more yeast or BV infections, try switching to a non-hormonal and talk to your gynecologist. Another thing that can cause discomfort down there, stress and lack of sleep. Stress and lack of sleep can trigger these infections. So just try and monitor that. I know life gets stressful and we're human and we all have bad days, but try to do things to like calm yourself down, meditate, relax, light a candle, do some self-care. Next thing, sex. Sex disrupts the natural flora of the vagina. And you know what? I feel like women, you really need to learn this, and men, because a lot of the reasons why we get these infections are not because we're doing something wrong always. A lot of times it's these dirty ass men. Now, one thing that is out of control, men's semen is alkaline and the environment of a vagina is acidic. So since they're alkaline and we're acidic, anytime that you have sex, you're at risk for getting BV or yeast. It's not even your fault half the time. This is why condoms are so important. Now, I know if you're in a relationship with someone and you've been together for a long time, or you know are married and you don't use condoms and you're on birth control, a good way to counteract that, or a good way to prevent that from happening, is these boric acid suppositories. You can use these as a spot treatment. There's instructions on the back. Right after sex, make sure you always go pee after sex and clean yourself, and then pop one of these bad boys in and you're good to go. You're fresh, you're clean. So that's another huge thing that can cause discomfort and irritation down there. If you're a woman and you're noticing why every time after like I have sex with a man I'm getting a infection or something, it's most likely because his semen is alkaline and where our vaginal environment is acidic. So that's another huge thing. Another thing I wrote here in my notes is foods high in saturated fats, dairy, sugar, fried chicken, anything greasy and stuff like that, desserts. You want to try and limit that, and if you can completely limit it out of your diet, great. If not, just limit the type of foods that you're eating that are unhealthy, because a lot of it is our diet. It is so important that you eat healthy, eat fruit, drink tons of water. Now, one of the things that really helps that is drinking water, because it's flushing everything out. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but the body is made of 60% to 70% water. So we should be daily intaking a gallon of water a day. You multiply your body weight by, I believe it's 60%, and whatever you get, that's how much water you should be drinking a day. But double check, make sure, Google online, it'll let you know. But I know you have to like multiply it by decimal, and whatever you get, that's how many servings you should be drinking. Now, I know I weigh 115 pounds, so I should be drinking a gallon of water a day. Now, that doesn't include if I'm doing severe exercise and I'm sweating. The more we're losing, the more you want to intake. So let's say I have a day where I'm working at the club and I'm losing a lot of water, then I want to drink more than just a gallon. A good way to help you take a gallon of water a day is one of these. I really recommend this. You can get one of these on Amazon, Walmart, Target.com. This is awesome because it has the time, and then it also has a little reminder for you, and it's kind of motivational. Like this one says 7 a.m. good morning, 9 you've got this, 11 a.m. don't stop. Like this really helps me drink more water. When I work at the hospital, like I would jug this thing around with me. Now, I'm human, I'm not perfect. Do I always remember to drink and take this gallon of water with me every day? No, but I try my best to. And if it overwhelms you to drink it directly out of the bottle, one thing that I do is just I carry it with me, and I'll carry a cup and I'll pour it into the cup. This is what I'm doing right now. So if that's helpful, do that. And I know this comes with a straw too, so I don't have the straw in right now because I washed it, but you can just open and lift the cap like this and just drink directly from the bottle. But I know like seeing this amount of water can be very overwhelming. But again, since it breaks it down into different times, it makes it a little less overwhelming. So try to drink as much water as you can. All right, another thing, let's see. Okay, so as I mentioned, I take probiotics. So probiotics is basically the good bacteria that's living in your gut, and it helps break down food and support healthy gut health, and vaginal health as well. So you want to try and take probiotics. You can get probiotics in many ways, not just from taking one, but you can get probiotics out of yogurt, kefir, I think that's how you say it, kombucha. I love kombucha, it's so good. I used to think, like, a lot of people told me it's really nasty, and I tried it recently and it's actually hella good. But if you don't like that, you can get it in yogurt, and things like that, or like, you know, the like yogurt smoothie things. Another thing is prebiotics. So there's a difference between prebiotics and probiotics. Prebiotics is like basically the types of fiber that feed the friendly bacteria. So probiotic being the friendly bacteria, you want to eat things that have prebiotics so that you're feeding the probiotic. Some of those things would be like green tea, onions, garlic, bananas, apples. All of those things contain prebiotics in it, and it's high in fiber, so it's gonna help feed that lactobacilli, and that's gonna help you have a healthier environment for not only your gut, but also your vaginal health. Okay, next things that I have written down, cranberry. So cranberry juice is awesome. You can take it regularly if you want. Take like the little capsules that they have. So as I mentioned before, you want to have a healthy diet, avoid things that have high sugar. So if you are going to drink cranberry juice, I would recommend getting the one that has no added sugar in it. Some people can't tolerate it because it's too strong. So you can get the one that has like 1 gram of sugar. Or if you don't like cranberry juice, you can get these little Azo cranberry tablets. I just bought a new pack because I ran out of them. I take 2 every day. That's the serving. And this one also has probiotic and vitamin C in it. And it equals 1 serving, 1 glass of cranberry juice. So if you can't handle the taste, these are really good to take. Or if you just don't have the time, like, you know, you're at work and you don't have time to pour some cranberry juice, these are really helpful. So the serving is 2, and I take 2 of these every day along with 1 of these. And another thing that can cause irritation down there, lack of magnesium. Now this goes back into how I mentioned your diet is a huge thing on your vaginal health. So when you don't have enough magnesium in your body, you basically need it because it's required to break down the toxins in your body, like how we have good bacteria and bad bacteria in our body. When you have low levels of magnesium, it's even harder to break down yeast, and it gives it an even more environment to keep growing. So a great way to get magnesium, you can buy the magnesium vitamin or sea moss. I've talked about sea moss in previous videos before. If you don't know what sea moss is, it's an herb. It's amazing. Now the one that I do take, it has bladderwrack and organic burdock root in it. I would recommend this because alone sea moss has 98 minerals in it, but when it's combined with burdock root and bladderwrack, it becomes a full 102 minerals required by our body. So our body is made up of 102 minerals. So this is awesome. That's why it's called Cell Fuel 102. You know, when we have like a lot of deficiencies and things like that, it weakens our immune system and puts you at higher risk to get any type of infection, really. So this is so great for that. It's really hard nowadays for people who, you know, work multiple jobs or have a fast life or have kids or just you know, people moving on their everyday life. Like, we don't always have time to get all of the nutrients that we need out of our food. So sea moss is a great way for that. You know, it has the full 102 minerals. So for example, it has calcium, magnesium, zinc, B12, like everything that our body needs. So If you don't have this in your life, I would recommend it. Now, this is the powder, and it does have a very fishy odor because it's from the sea. If you cannot tolerate this, it's 1 teaspoon. You can add it to a smoothie and add fruit, but you can still kind of taste it. If you're one of those people that can't, handle that kind of smell, they do sell these in capsules. Sometimes I'll make my own capsules. I have vegetarian ones, vegan ones that are just clear, and I'll fill them up with this if I have the time. If not, I'll just take a teaspoon, scoop it up, throw it in a smoothie, throw it in some tea, water, mix it, take it real quick like a shot. And this helps improve my energy levels, but this is definitely going to give you that magnesium that you need so that you can have healthy vaginal health. And another thing is how I mentioned Peachy Pure, it has aloe vera in it. So aloe vera, I took here in my notes, it provides energy to probiotics like lactobacilli, and it contains a type of complex sugar chain that it supplies both glucose and fiber to regulate our immune system. So this is what makes it such an incredible prebiotic. So how I mentioned earlier, prebiotic is what feeds the probiotic. So if you are taking your probiotics every day and then you use your boric acid, the aloe vera is feeding that probiotic, and it's creating a healthy environment for down there for you. So this is why they're so good. And that's what makes it the fuel for the prebiotic, which in turn creates the lactic acid and hydrogen peroxide. And that helps treat BV. So as I mentioned before in the beginning, lactobacilli, it lives in the vagina and it secretes lactic acid and hydrogen peroxide. So now when you're giving lactobacilli the aloe vera, you're now help creating that hydrogen peroxide to kill any type of BV that can potentially happen or grow down there. So this is another huge reason why I highly recommend Peachy Pure. I am not sponsored at all. I have been following Peachy Pure for years since their packaging was like old, and now they have improved their packaging. It's amazing. Like, I highly recommend this to anyone if you suffer from any type of infections, from just hormonal birth control, stress, regulation, all the things that I mentioned. It's so great for that. You definitely need this in your life. It will change your life as a stripper and just as a woman in general. And then another thing you can do to help increase magnesium in your body is take an Epsom salt bath. So as you guys know, this is made of magnesium. It's all natural. It's a natural magnesium sulfate salt. Take a salt bath with this, but make sure when you are taking salt baths, I would recommend taking the ones that are just plain and natural with no fragrance in them, because it can irritate you down there. Everyone is different, so if you can tolerate it, great. But for me personally, I know they have the ones with like lavender and like different scents like mango and hibiscus and all that. I just stay away from anything with fragrance because it's just putting me at risk for irritation. But I do know that the lavender can help. I know it's in a lot of yoni soaps, a lot of yoni oils. I'm pretty sure lavender is in this soap here, but it all depends on how sensitive you are. But like I said, I just like to avoid any fragrance, so I'll take a bath in this. As I mentioned, yoni oil, I do use. Now, this brand, oh my God, I love this brand. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's spelled Ayade, a Yade or a Yad, Health and Beauty. This stuff is amazing. I have been, how long have I been having this now? This is my second purchase and my second bottle. So this is super great for just like moisture down there. Good moisture, like after you shave, just lather this up, externally, not internally. You just want to wipe it around, and this stuff is amazing. It's gonna help just keep your pH level on track. It smells so good. All 100% natural ingredients. I can't even smell right now because I have COVID symptoms. But basically what this is gonna do, it's going to give you that nice moisture down there. You can use it as a lubricant. It's antibacterial because it has tea tree, it has mugwort, colloidal silver, And you just apply it to your labia and your vulva daily. And this just keeps me smelling nice and fresh and clean. Whenever I use this, my boyfriend always notices too, because I taste and smell really well down there. If you have not looked into yoni oil, I recommend it. Be careful with which brands that you're going to. Make sure you always read the ingredients. Make sure you always do a patch test before applying it, because you can have an allergic reaction to certain ingredients. But one thing that I really love about this one is that it has grapeseed oil, olive oil, mugwort. Like, there's nothing in here that really irritates you or is too high in fragrance that's gonna frustrate you down there. So yoni oil is great for that, you know, applying it after shaving so that you don't get razor bumps and stuff. It helps with that as well. And it helps with any type of yeast or BV. So definitely would recommend yoni oil. And then the last thing that I would recommend is ACV, apple cider vinegar. And as I mentioned earlier, its pH level is 2.3 and it's acidic. The vagina's pH level is acidic and it's from 3.8 to 4.5, so it's right in between the middle right there. You can ingest it through food, you can take a shot of it, you can add it to tea, you can throw it on your salads, you can season your vegetables with it, or you can dilute it with some water and add it to your bubble bath with just some Epsom salt. These combined are great. This is also in the plant-based yoni soap. This is the reason why it's so good, is because it's at the same pH level of the vagina. It's acidic, it's antifungal, it's antibacterial. So it's gonna help keep you fresh and clean down there. That's pretty much everything that I wrote in my notes. These are just all tips that I feel like are super, super helpful for women to keep your feminine hygiene on point. You know, as a stripper, you always want to smell good, feel good, be fresh and clean down there, because you're constantly in people's faces, your body parts are in people's faces, you're bending over, you're twerking. So I think it's super important that we follow proper steps to feel good and take care of our bodies. And even if you're not a stripper, I hope that the tips that I mentioned were very helpful to you. I hope that you learned something new if you didn't know already. As I said before, you know, uneducated women are most at risk for getting these type of infections. And then as far as like just making sure you're clean as a dancer, another great feminine hygiene tip is to use wipes. Any type of wipe that is fragrance free. Now, y'all know I don't really cheer for Summer's Eve products, because they're not they're not good for you. They have tons of fragrance in them. All of these soaps with like fruity, like, that's not good for you. Like, this is advertised that women are supposed to smell like fruits and everything like that, but no, it's normal. One thing I did have in my notes I forgot to mention is that every woman has a natural baseline scent, and whatever your baseline scent is, like when you sweat a little bit and you have a little bit of smell, that is, and not necessarily a bad smell, that's your natural baseline scent. So no vagina just walks around smelling like peaches and roses. But you know, there's things that you can do to make sure that you're smelling fresh and clean, like the boric acid, the yoni oil, the plant-based soap, and these wipes are great too. These I do cheer for because they're fragrance free. I always go to the back of the wipes and I make sure that they are fragrance free. They don't contain anything. They don't smell like anything. Your pH balance, you know, if you're sweating and dancing throughout the night in the club, these are great to just freshen up. If you want to do a quick panty change, quick thong change, wipe you down if you're on your period, anything like that, these are great to just carry in your purse or your dancer bag. So I would definitely recommend that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can give you ladies for vaginal hygiene tips. Just really make sure you, again, I'm going to go over, is just diet. Make sure you're trying to eat healthier, drink your water, take your vitamins and your supplements, because a large percentage of it is diet. Make sure you're wearing clothing and underwear that are safe and are going to absorb any type of bacteria. Also, 2 more tips that are very helpful is when you are doing your laundry and you're going to wash your underwear, I recommend using a detergent that is fragrance free. I like to use the organic plant-based soap. I switched to using that on all my clothes now, And then I'll only add like downy or fragrance to like my towels or like my clothes. But when I do my underwear, I wash them separately in hot water with non-fragrance detergent. And then a great tip is to use hydrogen peroxide or um, white vinegar. My white vinegar is currently in my car because I leave my like laundry soap in my trunk because I don't have a washer and dryer in my apartment. So I usually go out to do my laundry. But you can spray this on the inside of your underwear. And it will get rid of any bacteria, any stains, like if you have your period. Sorry if that's TMI, but it'll just clear any bacteria that's there, especially if you had a previous BV or yeast infection. It'll totally get rid of that and just keep your pH level balanced. Always do a patch test because I know hydrogen peroxide can stain sometimes. So if you just want to avoid that altogether, you can just add white vinegar to your laundry. And I add it to all my laundry, especially with COVID now. Just to kill all bacteria. But it really helps when you go in and like spray the inside of the underwear part. It'll just, you know, prevent you from getting a yeast infection again and like reoccurring, because when you have a bacterial infection, and even if you wash your panties, the bacteria still lives on them. So that's why it's very important to use like disinfectant to really get that bacteria out. And then one more thing that I would like to advise you guys for feminine hygiene tips are shaving. So whether you shave, wax, whatever's best for you. I know a lot of dancers do like to wax. I have never waxed because I am freaking terrified of the pain level. I know some girls wax themselves or they'll go to one. That is definitely on my bucket list. I do want to try it one day, but I am terrified. I have had friends who got it done and they say it freaking hurts. But then I also know girls who have got it done, but it's all on your pain tolerance. I'm the biggest wuss. Like, I don't even have any piercings. I do have tattoos. That doesn't hurt me, but like, I'm terrified. I want my belly pierced and stuff, but I'm just, needles scare the shit out of me. As you guys may have seen in my previous video where I got my lip filler and cheek filler, I was freaking out. But me personally, I like to shave. Whether you're going to shave or wax, it's really best if you do exfoliate first to get any dead skin cells off. It's gonna help when you go into shave be a lot smoother. And then always make sure you wash the area thoroughly before shaving too. Always throw away your blades. Don't reuse them. Don't share your razor blades with anyone because bacteria lives and grows on them. Now, I am not sponsored for this, but I recently have been really getting into Dollar Shave Club. I bought this at Walmart. I know you can subscribe to it through their website directly, but I really like that they're selling it at drugstores now so that you can actually give it out a try first. And then if you like it, just subscribe to it, because we do spend a lot of money on razors, especially if you're a sex worker, because you constantly have to be freshly shaved all the time for work. You know, you're wearing bikinis and your bikini area is constantly showing and your legs always have to be smooth. So one thing I would recommend for shaving is get a razor that has more than 3 blades. My boyfriend recommended that to me because I used to use razors with just 3 blades and I felt like it didn't get a good close enough cut shave. Honestly, men razors are a lot better than women razors. Like, I know for women, they always want to make everything seem so cute and pink and like fuzzy and warm. Like, even they make tampon and pad commercials seem like being on your period is just so fun and delightful. And it's like, no, women get hair on their body too. And whether you want to shave or not, that's up to you. But those little pink razors, they're not doing shit. Like, I'm Latina. I grow a lot of hair, thick hair, so I need to shave. So I recommend using a blade with more than 3. 6 is awesome. It's very sharp. I just used this one actually today and wow, it got a really nice close shave and it was smooth. Also, I'm very sensitive down there, so I would recommend, if you do like shaving cream, use one that is fragrance free. Now, the one that I use, I think it's by Silk. You can find it at like Dollar Tree or Walmart. But go to Dollar Tree, it's only $1. I get the sensitive one with aloe vera and it's fragrance free. There's nothing in it, no dyes, no fragrances. It's just aloe vera and it has no fragrance. And it does not irritate me. I can use it down there and I don't feel any like burning or anything like that. But I wanted to try something new. So I read that this is for sensitive skin, which I do have very sensitive skin, and this is shave butter. It works really well. I actually used it today in my bikini area. I'm gonna squeeze out a little bit. It's kind of like translucent clear like that, but it's really like very soft and smooth. It kind of has like a gel-like consistency, or like a cream, like a little lotion. Um, you apply it to whatever area you're gonna shave and then go over with it. I found that it got a nice closer shave and it left me super smooth after, and I didn't have like any bumps or like redness. So I would really recommend trying a shave butter, whether this is brand or not, but I really like this one because there's no fragrance in here either. So I'll recommend that as well. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop down in the comments below. I hope that all of you guys found this video helpful. I just want to help educate you women out there, because I know I was not educated on certain topics, and some women don't grow up with mothers, or some are just miseducated and their mothers don't teach them at all. You know, it's kind of sad. There's so many women that I, have talked to that they told me their parents never talked to them about sex, or like how to take care of themselves down there. And education is so, so important. Helps end stigma and really just stop feeling shameful about these things. BV and yeast and all these things, they are nothing to be embarrassed about. As you see, a lot of things that can happen are literally just out of our control. So, don't be so hard on yourself, and I hope that you take these tips and you apply them and that they help. Stay tuned for my next videos that I'm going to be posting. Since I have these 10 days, I'm really going to use them to put out more content. I have some cool Halloween looks up my sleeve that I want to also get out. So I hope that you all enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up and a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.